I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of you in the audience tonight that are wondering who Joanne is. I know that I think this section of the stadium might know. You're so sweet. They're like, bitch, we know who Joanne is. Sing the song now. Okay. But, you know, there's probably a whole bunch of people here that don't know who Joanne is, and they're probably wondering why I named my record Joanne. So I'm gonna tell you why. So, my father's sister, her name was Joanne, and I was named after her. That's my middle name. But my father's sister died in 1974 from lupus when he was about 15 years old, and she was 19 when she died. And when I was growing up, very often we would be at the dinner table together in New Jersey, and I would look over and my dad's voice would get real thin, and he'd have to get up and leave the table because his voice would start to crack like he was about to cry. And then I would see my grandmother would start to cry, and then my grandfather. And I didn't understand really why until it was explained to me. This picture in the front hall of my grandma's house, there was this photo of an angel, my father's sister, and they worshipped her, and so did I growing up, even though I never met her. So when I was making this album with Mark Ronson, he asked me what I had to write about. He said, I know and I love your pop songs, and I know you can write a great pop song, but if you had to write an album or a song that you left on this earth, that if it was, you know, maybe the last thing you ever got to say, what would it be? So I decided to search and go back into that pain in myself. I wondered a lot why I drank so much. I wondered a lot why I like to get high. I wondered a lot why I was in so much pain. I get a lot of physical pain from depression. I don't know if anyone here suffers from that. And I was wondering why. You know, and she passed away from lupus, and she was in a lot of pain. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, in an effort to try to understand myself, I had to go back down a rabbit hole. So I'm going to ask you to go there with me tonight. I'm going to ask you to go to that place in your life, or maybe in your family's life, an intergenerational grief that was passed on to you maybe by your parents or your grandparents, something that you were born into. I'm going to ask you to go back to that place where life blasted you so hard that you just can't fucking remember who you were before it happened. For me, that pain has one name, and that's Joanne. One, two, three. Take my hand, stay Joanne. Heaven's not ready for you. then I started to understand my dad just a little more. If you could, I know that you'd stay. We both know things don't work that way. I promised I wouldn't say goodbye, so I grin and my voice gets thin. Come on, sing it if you know it. Girl, where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going, girl? Can't wait to see you restored. Good evening, gentlemen. A round of applause for my wonderful band, ladies and gentlemen. So after a whole lot of time of me and my dad arguing while I was growing up, I'm sure you can imagine I was a real peach. Why my dad would get so mad, and he was so afraid he was going to lose me all the time. After I wrote this album, I really understood why. Because he didn't get to keep his sister, my father. But I sure as hell did. And so every night I get to wear this beautiful jacket that my sister made for me. And even if in some small way I could help heal his pain, that's all I really wanted. Even if I used my platform to tell the world our story as a family, just a small Italian-American immigrant family with a whole lot of pain. And Mark Ronson said to me, he said, "What would your goal be at the end of this album?" I said, my goal would be if I could sing these new songs, and if somebody in the audience came to see my show that swore that no matter what, they knew there was no way that they'd ever be able to relate to Lady Gaga. That they would hear the words of this song, and they would hear this album, and that they would know I was just like them. So call me Joanne. XO Joanne. I don't need to be ashamed anymore. everything that made me who I am.